Hello and welcome back to Culinary Haven. I hope that you tried and enjoyed last week's recipe, and today I'd like to show you how to make a classic dessert, caramel and banana tart. Let's begin. To make caramel and banana tart, we'll need, for the crust, 200 grams of plain digestive biscuits, 100 grams of dark chocolate digestive biscuits, and 100 grams of butter. And for the toppings, topping number 1, 150 grams of dark brown sugar, 150 grams of butter, and a tin of condensed milk. Topping number 2, 2 ripe bananas, peeled and sliced. And topping number 3 is 300 ml, a tub of double cream with a little bit of vanilla and a little bit of icing sugar. And we'll decorate it with either grated chocolate or chocolate chips, or just dust it with some cocoa powder. And we'll start with preparing the crust. We're going to make the tart in this fluted tart tin with loose bottom, 9-inch, 23 centimeters in diameter. Preparing the crust in this food processor. If you don't have a food processor, put the biscuits into a plastic bag, close it, and bash it with a rolling pin. We also need to melt the butter. The butter is melted, and now put them all in and process them to fine crumb consistency. Another 5 seconds. I want to make sure that the biscuits are all completely blitzed. It's important to make the perfect crust. Just another 5 seconds. That's it, ready now. And now we're going to pour the melted butter in. If you're making it without using a mixer, just pour the crushed biscuits into a bowl and pour the butter in and mix it together. Just make sure that it's well combined, the melted butter and the crushed biscuits. And now we're going to transfer this mixture into our tin and press it down firmly on the bottom and up the sides, creating a perfect tart shell. Mixing the plain digestive biscuits with dark chocolate biscuits not only gives us a better, more complex flavor, but also the warm butter melted the chocolate a little bit. So when we chill the tart shell, it will firm up and it will create a better and firmer tart shell. You can do it maybe with a spoon or a spatula, but I just find our hands are the best at doing this. Just firmly pressing, creating the perfect tart shell. When it firms up in the fridge, it will be just perfect. This is it, ready. It's ready to go to chill out. We're putting it in the fridge until it firms up and creates the crust. In the meantime, we'll prepare the caramel and let it cool a little bit, and by then the crust will be ready. I just want to say that I said fluted tart tin. If you don't have fluted tart tin, it's fine. Use a round one or any tin you have, square, it doesn't matter. I didn't mean that you must have the fluted tart tin. In other words, don't run to the shops. Remember, we're staying in. Next step, we're going to prepare the caramel. We need to cook it and we need to cool it. 150 grams of butter into a preferably heavy bottom pan. We need to melt the butter and then we'll add the sugar and stir it until the sugar is dissolved. So the butter is melting gently, and we'll wait until it's melted completely before we add the sugar. Now the butter is all completely melted, adding the sugar. 150 grams of dark brown sugar. Stir it and let the sugar melt and dissolve. Keep stirring. At first the butter and the sugar look completely separated, but on low heat keep stirring until they all blend and melt together. Stirring and helping the sugar to melt, and now we're there. And now it's time to add the tin of condensed milk. Looks like this condensed milk has seen its best days. Not runny, it's kind of thick, but it's fine. It doesn't go bad. On low, stir it and mix it all together. By doing this, we're creating the perfect, intense caramel. The molasses in the brown sugar gives this very intense, almost coffee-like flavor to this caramel. And now we're going to, it's all mixed now, all well mixed together, and we're going to cook it on low for a few minutes until the caramel starts to bubble. As you can see, the caramel is bubbling now, and we'll give it a minute and switch it off and take it off the heat. The caramel is now ready, and it took exactly 5 minutes to cook after we added the condensed milk. 5 minutes. And now I'm going to pour it into a bowl and let it go. And now we'll let it stand for about 15 minutes or so, and by then it will cool down a little bit and our crust will be ready. We don't want to pour very hot caramel, it will melt our crust again. The caramel has cooled a little bit. We give it 20 minutes in the bowl, stirring so it cools, but I don't want to give it too much time. I don't want to go all wrinkly and create a skin on it. And the crust is very nicely chilled, and we pour it in. Spread it evenly and put it back in the fridge until the caramel cools and sets. Let's say 30 minutes, an hour, we'll check. It's very soft just now, but we'll chill it and it will be perfectly set. It's been 30 minutes and the caramel is set, and it's still in the fridge, but will be out soon. We're preparing the next layer. We're whipping the cream, and to that we'll add a tablespoon of icing sugar. Not much, there's plenty of sugar in the caramel, but just to get rid of the blandness of the cream by itself. A teaspoon of vanilla, pure vanilla extract. If you don't have that, vanilla sugar will do just fine. I'm going to do it with an electric whisk, but you can also do it manually with just a normal whisk. And we're going to whisk it to soft peaks. When you see that the cream starts thickening, just do it very gradually, because you don't want to overdo it, otherwise you'll just end up with butter. Just soft peaks, that's what I'm looking for. Stop and check every so often if you're doing with an electric whisk. Every 5 seconds. It's already thickening, so it won't be long. Here's our tart, nicely set, the caramel, and slice the bananas now into about 5 millimeters, half a centimeter slices. Now sample the bananas on top of the caramel, any way you like, just any pattern you fancy, covering the whole surface. That's the idea. There. And the last layer is the cream. I think I overdone it a little bit. Not a disaster, but they're kind of stiff peaks, but it's okay. Don't panic. Spoon it on top and spread it with an offset spatula, covering the bananas. If you like, you can put the whipped cream into a piping bag and pipe it out in a nice pattern, but you don't have to. Lastly, we'll decorate it with some chocolate chips, as much as you like. Milk chocolate, dark chocolate, whichever you prefer. Today I'm using milk chocolate chips. That'll do. To unmold the tart, take a tin of anything, put it on top and gently release it. And also try and release it from the base. It doesn't look like I can unmold the bottom part of the tin. I don't want to break the tart, so I'll just leave it as it is just now. And when we slice it, we'll just use plastic utensil, a plastic spatula or a turner to cut it without damaging the base of the tart tin. And now you can put it back in the fridge to set a little bit more, or in any case, if you're not serving it right now, which you can do, but if you're going to serve it as a dessert after dinner, keep it chilled. Thank you for watching this episode of Culinary Haven, and remember, stay safe, stay at home. And until next time, bye.